Hello, I'm Justin Perkins, and this is Talk Junkie. This is a little mini cast, just a short little podcast. I done one the other day about writing a book. It went a little longer, I guess, than a mini cast, but this one is going to be about making the podcast. I've had two people ask me, via message, and how I got into it, basically the process of it. They were interested in that. Also, there is a teacher at a local school. I've been involved with him a couple times with my books. They're wanting me to come back for an Appalachian Lit thing, and they also are doing a little thing with podcast. So, I've had a couple questions here lately just about the podcasting. I'm not real good at this. You can probably tell by listening, and I'm not really advanced at this. Last year, almost at this time, it's been almost a year since I started putting stuff together to try to start the podcast. And I sat on it for almost a year before really jumping into it as of late, because it was so hard to get people together and get people to show up and get people to do it and work around people's schedules. And a lot of people just don't want to do it. So I figured I'd just do it myself, talk myself. What I initially did was I did a little bit of research, watched some YouTube pages. I am very, very un-tech savvy. I just, it's not my thing, and I have ADD to a certain degree, apparently. And I can't sit down and focus and read and on trying to do certain. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Some things come to me, they just click. Some things are impossible, and electronic things just feel impossible often, no matter how much time and effort I put into it. But did some research, looked around. The first thing you got to do, I guess, there's the general things. What are you going to do the show about? Formatting and all that. Everything I looked at said that needed to come first. I don't necessarily think so. I think if you want to do a podcast, I think the first thing to do is start recording yourself and playing around with that. Whether it be on just a recording app on your phone, like a voice recorder app, just to record and hear your voice played back, or if it's on YouTube. I use YouTube a lot because I was making YouTube videos. But either way, you can go whichever one of those you think would work for you. But I really think that kind of talking some first and kind of getting used to me. That was the hardest part to me, is getting used to doing that. And doing it very simply, like some of these I've done with just my phone, just the mic on my phone. Some of them I do with a headset. The other Four Horsemen one, which the sound is not really good on that one, but I've done that with a mixer and 4 individual mics and, a laptop. It's just getting used to what you're doing and figuring out the best way to do it, which I still haven't done. I am waiting to finalize my podcasting setup. I'm waiting to have a great setup because I don't at this point. But once I messed around with the YouTube page some and done some recording, done some research, I bought a podcasting kit from Sweetwater. Came with a set of headphones, a mic, USB converter that would allow me to send a little 2-channel or 4-channel board they had from out of the board to USB and into the computer. I used Audacity to play around with it first, and that was something good to play with. And doing a 1 or 2 person podcast, that little setup was okay. Later, I bought a USB headset just to plug into my computer. Doing 1 person, that works really good. I have found a method, if you've got 2 identical headsets, to do, and I guess it would work with a separate one. You can get a decent sound doing that with 2 in 2 different USB ports, on your computer. But once I got, my recommendation, if you're going to do it by yourself and you're starting out, is a headphone setup, like the headset set up with a microphone and headphones built in. Because, I ended up buying a 4-channel mixer, 4 sets of headphones, a splitter for the headphones, 4 mics, mic stands, buying all this, and I'm not real satisfied with the sound quality. So I use this headset more often than not. That's what I'm using today. But it's a super simple setup. You can just stick it into your computer on USB port. I also have this adapter that adapts my lightning cable on my iPhone to USB. And if it's just me on the podcast, it's a 99.9% chance that's what I'm using is my iPhone. It's super easy. Now, once I played around with some of this stuff, I switched from the Audacity to a site. You have to have a hosting site. And to be completely honest with you, I really didn't want to get into this huge rigmarole of all the technical side of uploading these podcasts. I looked for the best options that were out there. And there's all these hosting companies that do all these different things for you. I found Spreaker. I liked Spreaker right off. I liked the way it was set up. Everything worked good. I liked everything about it. So I went with Spreaker. Spreaker has a recording studio. I have it downloaded onto my laptop, and I have the app on my iPhone. You have to pay. You can do it for free, but you get like 18-minute shows. I think it's 18 minutes, somewhere around that, if you do it for free, and you can only do so many and only store so many hours. And as you move up, I initially started out with one of the higher packages. I forget, like I had 3 hours straight recording, and that's probably where I would go back to if I had the ability to do a lot of guests and do long form like I want to. But I've noticed that people seem to like the shorter recordings, and by shorter I mean 30 to 45 minutes. And so the package I'm on right now allows me 30 to 45 minute recordings. So that's what I'm doing right now. But with Spreaker, I picked this. With the laptop, I could input either my USB headset, or I could input the USB port that my mixer was coming out of, and just play around with it, have fun. It worked really well with the phone. And using my iPhone, I've got that adapter that goes USB to Lightning. Open up the app, hit record. Super simple and really enjoyable. It's got a preload place. It's got some sound effects, things of that nature. Just really simple stuff like that. But it allows me to edit those effects and input my show intro, my outro. I kind of keep those separate. It allows me to do things like that. I can put anything I want on there. I can upload, say I interviewed someone and I had, a little, slice of audio. I can put that in this playlist and play it in the middle of my my podcast. So, it's really got a lot of versatile things. The important thing is, once you've got everything set up, like you go through the setup process, it's pretty simple. It's a monthly fee. You go through the setup process, and you can do it without the monthly fee, but it's unless you're doing really quick cast, the mini cast, it's hard. But once you get everything set up, you can go in and you record your episode, and it's like, I can't sit and walk you through every bit of it. It's super simple. And when you upload it, the first time is hard, not hard, but the first time is the hardest time when you upload to iTunes. Because let's be honest, that's where everybody wants to get to. Once you get all that information stuff input, you put it on iTunes. You have to wait so long for iTunes to approve it. other podcast sites do that as well. Once they've approved the first episode, I've had no issue. You just put them up immediately after that. But the good thing with the Spreaker app is when I put it up, I've got everything linked. So it goes to a Facebook page to promote there. It goes to the YouTube page. It goes to Google, iTunes, just about anywhere that you can get a podcast. It goes to all those places, uploads them. I really like the way it does with, say, on the Spreaker page, or especially on the YouTube page. It allows me to put a picture, thumbnail picture, that's different for each episode. And when you pull it up on YouTube, you'll see that. So the picture corresponds with the title. It doesn't do that on iTunes, which is something I think iTunes should really kind of look into. That's a good feature. I'm sure they'll listen to this and hear that very statement and go, why have we not listened to Justin yet? That's what we should do. But I think it is a good setup. You can go live with Spreaker. I did that once, I believe, back in the beginning of it, and I've only done one or two. I don't have like tons of people that listen, so there's really no need in that. The going live thing, I'd probably be talking to myself. Very well, maybe right now. But once you've got your audio input device, your microphone, mixer, headset, whatever you're going to go with, and then you pick really your hardware that you're going to use. Are you going to go PC? You're going to go iPad? Are you going to go phone? I used an old generation iPad for a while and liked it. I really like an iPad for this. The issue is if I find a way to do multiple mics much easier, because I can't input my mixer through this. I don't like the way my mixer's sounding. I guess I need different microphones. But if I could find a way to do 2 or 3 USB microphones individually into the iPad, that's probably what I would do. Or the iPhone, it's really handy. I'm a slow convert to that stuff because of that reason. The ports and the not having USB ports and the they get me there. I've heard GarageBand works good for recording these, but what I like about Spreaker again is everything's right there. I do it, they publish it for me. I really don't have any. They even run ads for me. I don't obviously have enough listens and downloads for it to really make any money, but they do take care of that. And if you listen to this, regardless of where you listen to it at, other than YouTube, I believe, but like on iTunes, there'll be commercials in between and stuff. So I can do in-show advertising from people, local businesses and things like that. But they'll do national advertising and large-scale advertising for me on the outside. And that makes it, if I ever got a bunch of listeners, makes it viable. Plus, they allow you to do multiple shows. And because I just don't really have... I don't know, it's hard to get a real catch-all show, and this is pretty close. I mean, I talk about just about anything, but I do have an idea for a little more specialized show, so I may take advantage of that. Because initially, a year ago, there was going to be the Stuff I Like podcast, and there was going to be the Other Four Horsemen podcast. The Other Four Horsemen podcast involved 4 people, and that's so hard for everybody's schedule and to get everybody involved. It's just, most of us are adults. I don't know if you'd include me and Joey in the adults, but the other 2 are adults. And it's hard. It's just hard to get everybody together and get everybody to do everything. So, that kind of, those 2 blended together and morphed into this. And that's why your first episode of this is called The Other Four Horsemen. Probably one of the best shows I've done. Super entertaining. It was a good lead into this. And then I've kind of branched off and done the stuff on my own here and there, with hopes that we can get everybody back together again and eventually do that show again. But I've enjoyed this show myself, being able to talk myself. So you've got the desire to do it. You play around with it a little bit. You come up with your input device. You come up with your hardware. You come up with your program. Again, there's tons of podcast hosting platforms out there, but you pretty much my understanding, at least a year ago when I really got into looking at this, you had to have a hosting platform. So I go with Spreaker, but there's other things, and I just go with Spreaker because it was easy from the other one. I did try other ones. It's the easiest I tried. There may be a lot better option out there. But you record it, you publish it, and you see if people listen. The big thing is advertising. I did hit a little run at the beginning of this where I tried to do it without social media because I was off social media for months and months and months, and now I'm on with a Instagram and I'm like everything, and that's unusual for me to a little bit. Like I'm still having trouble getting used to that, but the Facebook page had always been open. I just wasn't using it, so you can go to Author J Perkins on Facebook, and it's got information on there. There's a page, but anything that's going to be for the show is going to be posted on there, and you can leave me a message for anything regarding the show. Author J Perk, P-E-R-K, at gmail.com is the Gmail address. If you got any advice for me or questions or comments about podcasting, send those. Like I said, to the people that have asked, and we may use this, may allow the teacher may be able to use this for the class I'm going to speak with, but it's basically what I'm going to cover with them because I'm a novice. You know what I mean? I'm just getting into it, but it's fun and it gives you a voice. It gives you a chance to talk. This doesn't have to be successful. It gives me a chance to do something I like to do, and there's enough people interacting and listening right now that makes it fun for me. So that's all that really matters. Thank you for listening. Books. I have a poetry book, Coal Kingdom. It is available. If you do not live in the area I'm from in Eastern Kentucky, it is available on Amazon, and it is available for free shipping in Amazon Prime. Everyone's different, just like me. A children's book I wrote with my son. Same deal with Amazon. The Boy with Super Hearing. Same deal with Amazon. But if you live locally, at the 1st of February, the only place locally that has my books is the Red Spotted Newt in Hazard, Kentucky, READ, Red Spotted Newt. They are on Facebook. You can get it there. And the next book is almost done, and I'm going to try to do something with it where more than likely for the first couple of weeks it's available. That'll be the only place you can get it. We'll be there, or maybe there, and I might go from there to another store and try to keep it local for a little bit. But this is a really good store and really good people, and I really think they're doing a good thing. And having my book exclusively will do absolutely nothing for them, but it makes me feel good. So that's what I'm going to do with it. But thanks for listening, and that's the mini cast on making a podcast.